All right, so I'm back for a follow-up of my my video of how to check sensor dust and all that. You know, that was pretty fun video. I talked too much. My first comment ever on YouTube was stop yakking and like get to it. So I thought that was kind of funny, and I did think it was true. So I'll try to keep this shorter. Today I'm going to go through cleaning your sensor. And as a bonus, I'm going to split them up into different chapters. I'm going to also clean my lens. So this will be pretty much just how to clean your gear. And I'll spend a little bit more time on sensor cleaning. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Okay, first things first, I like to clean my work area. You might want to blow it off with dust. This is more for the sensor, and not so much for the lens, but still, you get the point. So we're gonna let that dry, and then we will go ahead and start on the camera. All right, we're back after letting this dry. And first thing I'm gonna do is take off my L bracket. I use a small rig L bracket, and I use that mostly just for protection. I don't really use tripod all that much, even though I do have a tripod, but I don't use it all that much. So I take this off. I actually modified this L bracket because I don't like how they have the battery access. I want it to be, you know, a lot more clean. That does, you know, cause some issues if I banged my camera here, but this is usually, I hold it in my left hand, so this is usually up against my body, and this is the side that usually gets hit if there's anything that does get hit. So let's go ahead and take this off. Okay, set that to the side. The first thing I do usually is just take this little brush, or an acid brush. If you want to look them up on Amazon, I'll leave a link. I've used them a lot in soldering and everything like that, but they work great. Just get in here, brush out all the crevices, and usually that's all I need to do to make me feel like my camera is clean, because I don't get a lot of sand or anything like that. I don't live next to the coast anymore. So I live in Montana, and I don't tend to lay my camera down in the mud, so that's not an issue. I will take my lens cleaner, spray it onto here just a little bit, and I'll clean my top LCD screen with that. I will try to clean the viewfinder. I always do have a hard time with that. That's not the easiest thing to clean. Turn it. Give another little spray right there. And let's clean the flippy screen. Now I guess it would be smart of me to pull that away. There's nothing in there. I rarely pull this out. So I mostly shoot ungulates and owls, so I don't really need to get that low to where I pull that out. I have on vacation, but I normally don't. So that's usually the first start of that. Wipe it down. Everything looks good to me. Looks like I'm ready to go shoot. So let's move on to the sensor cleaning. All right, so we came to the sensor cleaning section, and so let's go ahead and take this off. Please refer to your manual. If your camera has a shutter, there is a cleaning mode. Refer to the manual, figure out how to do that so that it will lift the shutter. The Z8 does not have that, so it just does have the sensor shield, and we want to go ahead and expose the sensor. Hold it upside down so no dust falls back into the sensor. We're going to use your rocket blower. And bring that shield back down. And then I like to put the lens cap on just to be safe. Now this might be enough. You might not actually need to do the swab to actually clean your sensor, but refer back to this video as to why I'm showing you how to do this with the swab. So the next portion, I like to break it up into portions because I don't want my sensor exposed too much, and if there is any dust particles in the air, I want them to settle. So I'm going to take probably just a 2-3 minute break just to let everything settle, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to expose the sensor again, and we're going to swab it. So I'll be right back. All right, so here we are, little overhead view. I already opened that, but it's still sealed all the way up. So we're going to follow the instructions here. This is pretty much what I do anyway, but it says drip 1 drop of sensor cleaner on the swab. Funny that it shows 2 drops. Okay, then keep the swab in the air for 10 seconds. I don't necessarily do that. And then do your actions. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead, and I don't want dust on the sensor, so as least amount of exposure as I can get. I'm going to go ahead and pull that. So it says 1 drop. I'll wipe it there. If you can see that, I don't know, but it is wet there. So let's let it air out just a little bit, not too much. Okay, then we're gonna do the scary part, expose the sensor. All right, so right here, press firmly, not too hard, but firmly. I'm gonna go across. Okay, now the dry side. We're gonna come back. Okay, now close that. All right, now, important thing. Even if the sensor is not clean, this swab is done. I'll link to this kit in the description. It's fairly cheap, has plenty of swabs. So what we're gonna do next is go ahead and test that. This is done unless it is bad, but it's not, I'm sure. And we'll go ahead and test it. And if we have to repeat it, we can repeat it. Basically, we would just repeat those exact same steps, and don't be afraid to do this, but do it knowing that, you know, it is a risk. You could just send it into Nikon. What I've seen is it costs about $90, and I'm not willing to pay $90 when I can get a kit where I can do each one of these, you know, divided by $90. That saves me quite a bit of money. One more thing I'm gonna do while I'm here is I'm gonna use a little bit of lens cleaner just on here. This microfiber cloth is stained, it is not dirty. And I'm just gonna go ahead and clean the mount. Okay, now try that. Let that air for just a little bit. That mount can get pretty nasty in there sometimes. So there's that. Take this, the lens cap off to the side away from it, brush it out. Okay, now let's put that back on. There we go. Now I'll show you how to test that out. All right, now we're gonna test the sensor. Let's show you, because I was having a little bit of a tough time getting to the default. So I use, as I said before, I use this as a second AF button for spot focus or single point, not with tracking. So I changed it back. It is cycle live view info display. Now I want that because I need to see the histogram. So it's very important to see the histogram on this, otherwise you're not gonna get great results. So let's go ahead and have the histogram back there. So what we wanna do is, if you can see, let's get kind of close. You want the histogram all the way to the right, okay? And so you want the smallest aperture you can get, so that's f16 on this. Set your ISO, take it off auto, that's how I shoot auto. Take it to manual, as low as you can go, 64, 100 for OM systems, I think it's 200, Canon 100, Sony, I don't remember, I think it's 100. But so for Nikon, 64. So to get the histogram all the way to the right without blowing it out, so basically as far to the right as possible, but with a little tiny gap. That's what's gonna give you the best results to see your sensor. What you're gonna do, I have it's basically f16, ISO 64, 3 seconds. I do have a light that I'm shining over here to help illuminate, and so I'm not at 10 seconds, but yeah. Here we go, we're gonna take a picture and we're going to move it. The reason why we're gonna move it is if there's any blemishes on here that I don't quite see, I don't want those coming up in the picture. So by moving it, we're gonna blur out anything on here. I do see some dust spots right there. So those would show up, and I would think that those were some sensor dust. But what we're gonna do, we're gonna move it so that all blurs out and we don't see anything on this except white, and anything we do see will be the sensor. So I usually take 2 or 3 pictures. All right, so that should be good. What we're gonna do then is, let me adjust that. Okay, what we're gonna do then is take this into Lightroom, and I'm actually just gonna link to the other video and you can see how to do that. I don't think I'm gonna add that into this video just because of the time. All right, I lied a little bit. I said I wasn't going to include this part, but I am because it's pretty quick. So I imported these into Lightroom. I'm gonna go ahead and just do my little test where I lower the blacks, lower the whites. Okay, I don't see any of the smudges. I like to change the temperature like I showed before. You know, it is interesting. I don't know exactly what all that stuff is, but why it does that, but it seems to do that no matter what I've ever done with checking. It might be the direction of the light that's causing that. But anyway, I don't see any smudges, so that's pretty good. Let's come back here. Let's visualize spots. No spots. Lower these down just a little bit. I know the sensor looks really weird when you do this, so maybe one spot right there. Maybe. So I'll go ahead and probably do this just one more time just to see if I can get that spot out of there, and then everything looks pretty good to me right now. Looks like that was a successful sensor cleaning. So that's how you go ahead and do that. Please refer to my previous video to see why I made this video. I know it's a little long. I put some chapters in there. You could just skip ahead to my actual testing methodology and the issue. You can bounce around in that video. So, all right, thank you. All right, so my super telephoto 500mm f4 FL Nikon. I'm just gonna go ahead and clean that. First thing I like to do, start with this handy dandy brush again. I just like to clean this off, do all that. I actually have a better tool for that. Give me 1 second for this only. I like to use an actual automatic blower. Don't use that for your camera, but I like to use that for this. set the hood off to the side. All right, so just get all the dust off, get through here. Any issues you see, I just did this recently, so it's really not that dirty. If you have any actual dirt on it, go ahead and just take a damp, lightly damp rag and just wipe that off, clean it off. Basically, don't be afraid of it. You know, the lenses are built to handle this. Don't get it soaked, but you know, clean it off best you can. So what I like to do here, not use the automatic blower, but for the glass here, that's nice. Go ahead and rocket blower that. And then I have a lint-free lens cloth over here. I usually buy new ones of these. I like the bigger ones. I usually buy new ones of these every couple, 3 to 4 months, somewhere in there, because I don't like to wash them and reuse them. I will wash them, hand wash them, and then just let them kind of dry. But I don't like to spray the lens element. I have in the past, but I just don't like doing that. So I'll just spray a little bit of lens cleaner. I'll put a link to that, you know, Zeiss lens cleaner. You do want it a little bit wet. And then start on the outside. And in circular motion, work your way in. Go back out, work your way in. Okay. And then I'll turn it around so it's dry. And work my way around. It's losing a little bit of pressure. Come in. I still see some smudges from being just a tad too wet, but I'll let that dry just a little and then come back to it. Again, turning the rag or the cloth, sorry, in a circular motion, slight pressure. All right, that looks pretty good. The back, I tend to not really touch this, but you can. It's a little harder to get in there, but I don't have a lot of issues. It looks pretty clean. Not a lot of dust in there or anything like that. So I don't really see little googly eyes right there. I don't really see too much of an issue, and I don't want to get down in there and cause problems. So just blow it out. As always, point it down. And come back to this rag right here and just clean the mount. I find that there is always just a little bit of buildup on that mount. All right, so this lens cap is pretty clean. Put it back on and we're all done. If there's any other tips or tricks or anything else that you guys are interested in, let me know. I've done this a ton, everything from film cameras to digital SLRs to mirrorless, everything. Owned a lot of different systems, a lot of different lenses. I am very obsessed with sharpness. Most lenses nowadays on the new mirrorless systems, they're sharp, so there's not a lot of issues there. But the old, finding a good SLR lens back in the day on a budget, sometimes that's a bit of a challenge. Some people's idea of sharpness is a little bit different than other people's. So anyway, yeah, if there's anything else, just let me know and I'll make a video on it. I have some ideas, so stay tuned, like and subscribe, and I will go ahead and put out the videos that I've been thinking about. So take it easy. Have a great day.